Robert E. Lee versus Jan Zizka, the famous Confederate general from the American Civil War versus the famous Hushite rebel who never lost a battle. Both are military strategists. Both were outnumbered. Both were old. Both were rebels. Lads. Confederacy had the Model 1832 foot artillery sword, while the Hushites had the Francisca axe. Had the Bowie knife, while the Hushites had the flail. Had the 18 cavalry saber, while the Hushites had the medieval sword. The Confederates had the Colt 1851 Navy revolver, while the Hushites had the pistolet. The Confederates also had the Whiteworth rifle, while the Hushites had the Nakavis hook gun. Nakavis hook gun was very useful since if you took the hook off of it, it could take 3 people out in one shot. Whitworth rifle was used for sharp shooting by the Confederacy. They also had the Sharps rifle, while the Hushites had the crossbow. The Confederates had the Williams gun, which could shoot up to 2,000 yard range, while the Hofis, a howitzer cannon, can shoot up to 173.4 yards range. The Confederates had the 6 powder gun cannon, which could go over to at least 1,523 yard range, while the Bombarda wild cannon was a special weapon used by the Confederacy since it could shoot cannonballs repeatedly, and the special weapon of the Hushites was the war wagon. The personal weapons of Lee and Zizka was Lee had a sword and Zizka had his mace. Begins with General Lee leading his men to defend Richmond from U.S. General Grant. As Lee is leading his men, he sees a couple of slaves running up a hill for freedom. After the slaves run over the hill, a man appears with his men and war wagons. It was Jan Zizka escaping with his men from the Crusaders. Lee instead thinks it's abolitionists who are trying to help the slaves escape. Lee orders his men to mobilize for battle. Meanwhile, Zizka orders his men to drive the war wagons down the hill, since he thinks his army is sent by Emperor Sigismund to destroy them. Zizka and his soldiers drive the 5 war wagons down toward Lee and his 20 soldiers. The Confederates managed to load 1 cannon and to destroy one of the Hushites' war wagons and take out 4 Hushites before the other 4 wagons ram into them, putting out 5 Confederates. Out of the confusion, Lee tries to reorganize his army as Jan Zizka's army starts attacking his men. 2 of Lee's men were able to load a revolving cannon and destroy another Hushite wagon with 2 Hushites. Just then, 2 Hushites fired the Bombarda cannon, putting out those Confederates. Confederates jump out of their hiding place and shooting their Whitworth rifles killed the 2 Hushites. A Hushite then starts to run behind them, taking off the hook of his Hakovnis gun. He fires at them, putting out his Colt 1851 Navy revolver and fires at the Hushite along with another fellow soldier, taking them out. Finally, Lee and the last 10 Confederates take out their swords and charge at Jan Zizka and his men in a sword battle. The Hushites take out their flails, swords, and axes, and the Hushites managed to put out 7 Confederates, as the Confederates took out 5 Hushites. The Confederates retrieving their Sharps rifles. They turn around, firing at the Hushites, taking out 3 of them. The two Hushites fire their howitzer cannon, pointing out the three Confederate on his horse and fires at the Hushites, taking them out. Zizka rides on his horse towards Lee. Lee notices him. Zizka jumps off his horse before he is trapped under it. Lee rides toward Zizka until Zizka pulls out his pistol and fires it near Lee's horse. The horse kicks Lee off of it, and he lands on the ground. Lee gets up to just get hit by Zizka's mace in the chest and falls backward. After getting back up, he pulls out his sword. Lee's and Zizka's weapons clash as they try to defeat each other. Lee finally dodges Zizka's mace and takes out Good Eye. Lee hits Zizka to the ground. Just as Lee is about to slay Zizka grabs his mace and swings it, hitting Lee's sword. Breaking it, Zizka hits Lee rapidly, taking him out. A KO. Hushite reinforcements come and lead Zizka to safety, keeping his record of never losing a battle. The conclusion is that Zizka, even when he went blind, as with General Lee, he never lost a battle. But with General Lee, he was put in the same situation as Zizka and still lost to General Grant. Zizka won with untreated peasants and with few resources, mostly having farming tools. Zizka wins this fight.